include the usual shitting, like, comment, subscribe, share, rate. Okay, there are many custom campaigns out there. Many of them are nice to play. I even did a video on the top 5 that you must play. But still, sometimes you don't want things that are new. Sometimes you just want to experience the good old classic. And there's nothing more classic than the first campaign ever you play in Warcraft 3. No, not the Scourge of Lordaeron with Arthas, though that is the most memorable one for everybody. We're talking the tutorial. Yes, the prologue with Thrall, where you kinda take him to Kalimdor and that's it. You don't know what happens next, and the next time you play as Thrall, you're just in Kalimdor with some blue trolls, apparently. Yeah, well, that's because they had to cut out something when they published the game. But still, that's a classic. The prologue is a classic. Later on, in the Frozen Throne expansion, they would add the missing chapters to Thrall's journey into the custom campaign section. And it's funny that we're talking the prologue in custom campaigns, because this is a custom campaign based on the whole prologue. From the start with Thrall's visions, all the way until he finally leaves with the trolls, with the blue trolls, the Dark Spear. And it's a doozy, and this is one campaign that I can wholeheartedly recommend because it's fun. It adds something quite unique to the game and make it more interesting, you know? There are many campaigns out there that go out with the goal of remaking something original. There's a bunch of them only for the Scourge of Lordaeron. Again, it is the most memorable campaign out of the whole Warcraft 3 lineup. But this one is pretty good. It's a Warcraft 3 randomizer for the prologue. All 5 missions with randomized units. Now, if you're not getting it, this is impressive, because no longer is it just an orc playthrough of the prologue. It's no longer just orcs. Now you can have anything from Night Elves to footmen to murlocs to gnolls to any unit that can correspond to, I guess, what is basically a grunt and any other unit you have in your selections. The campaign is called The Boyz Depart, a clear reference to Warhammer and how the orcs speak in there. And it's interesting. I had a bunch of fun playing it. The idea of mixing up things, making the original campaign a little bit different, a little bit more unique, but while still maintaining the same Blizzard-like qualities without trying to improve it, really, in my opinion, makes this campaign worth playing. You never know what you're gonna get. For example, in my playthrough, I got a Thrall that was, what was it again? The Shadow Hunter. Yeah, it was a Shadow Hunter, which is quite an interesting hero to play in those beginning missions. Most people aren't really familiar with the Shadow Hunter unless they've played Rexxar's campaign, or maybe they are familiar because they've played the whole, what do you call it, the multiplayer. But generally, most people don't really get to play the Shadow Hunter in their custom campaigns. And that was interesting. It was a nice experience to be able to use the Shadow Hunter outside the Rexxar campaign. And it's pretty nice. What can I say? It's pretty enjoyable to have this wide selection of things. And you never know what you're gonna get. Life is like a box of chocolates, said Forrest Gump. Well, this game is much in the same way, a box of chocolates. You don't know what you're gonna get. For example, at some point, I think it was in the 4th mission, maybe, yeah, the 4th mission. I kind of get their names mixed up. And the custom campaign is called Flames Under Beneath. It's the one where Thrall and the Dark Spears are taken prisoners by the Murlocs. And there, I had some pretty bad luck. And I'm not joking when I'm saying I had bad luck. I had immense bad luck. My starting unit, usually in the normal campaign, you start with Thrall and another orc, a grunt. And then you go on to save the other grunts and Dark Spear trolls. And it works because you get a grunt, and grunts are pretty tough units. Everybody knows this when it comes to Warcraft 3. Grunts are very tough as a frontline unit. I got instead a Murloc with barely any life, barely any attack, but it came with the ability that abominations and meat wagons come with, and that's the disease cloud. Which you might think is pretty nice, it's pretty genius. The thing died almost instantly most of the times, and I'm not even sure if I managed to keep it safe and bring it to the end of the level. During that whole mission, I got a bunch of units that were not made to resist. They weren't tough, they were as tough as a Warhammer fan or as tough as a wet noodle. But still, it gives you an interesting challenge, and it gave me an interesting challenge because now I had to deal with these things in front of me, these units that were weaker than the enemies, and how do I manage to shine in a way that I can finish this level? And I managed to do it. I also found OP items that made my Shadow Hunter pretty strong. And we joke about the Shadow Hunter, and I say the Shadow Hunter isn't that much played unit by many people, but let's be honest, that ultimate that makes everybody around him invincible, that's a God-given, that's a gift to humanity. And I would learn that a little bit later on, I think in the last mission where you have to wait those 20 minutes. Funnily enough, during that waiting period, the enemy uses giant golems to destroy your towers. The golems are stupidly programmed in the prologue to just attack the towers and then move. It's only towards like the final level where they seem to get some sort of intelligence and they go all in, but they technically stand more to attack buildings. And guess what? In this campaign, they do exactly that. That's the thing. This campaign doesn't really bring anything unique gameplay-wise. Story-wise is basically the same with random, I wouldn't say random, with voice clips added here and there to make a funny joke. And it works. For what it is, it works. It's not something mind-blowing. It doesn't break the power of the engine. The Warcraft 3 engine is still fine after playing that. It's not groundbreaking. It's nothing that would be like, wow, this is revolutionary. No, but what it is, it's a fun campaign. It's a nice campaign, and it's one people should play. Mostly because you never know what you get. Here's another interesting thing. During the whole campaign, my Thrall was a Shadow Hunter. But there's a catch here. If my Thrall would have died at any point, then when I went into the Altar of Storms and created a new character, well, respawn Thrall, excuse me. If I respawn Thrall, then he would have been another hero, which would have made things a little bit more interesting in my opinion. I think I should have done that. I should have let him die until I got scenarios or something like that. Nevertheless, it's still pretty fun. I said it's not groundbreaking, but it is fun. At the end of the day, it does what a custom campaign, what a game is supposed to do. It's supposed to be fun, and it is fun. It's nice. You never know what you're gonna get. Like, you get footmen, and that's pretty okay. They have good armor, though they're not the most beefy like the orcs. Or you might get ghouls, which is interesting. Or the Night Elf hunters, not hunters. What are they called? The archers, the Night Elf archers, which in my opinion are kind of OP in this thing, very much so, because you can use them to kite around, though I haven't done that. Nevertheless, because I've been rambling for like 8 minutes, this is a must-play campaign. It's not groundbreaking, but it is fun, it's enjoyable, trust me. You will have fun with it, you will be frustrated because if that moment in the flames under beneath is anything, it just proves that the game and the RNG can screw you over. But hey, there's still good items out there. Nevertheless, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you'll enjoy the campaign, and I'll see you in the next one.